Hi everyone. For today's Excel tips and tricks, I'm going to show you how to come up with a to-do list in Excel that can help you track your tasks. So this to-do list not only shows you the tasks that you need to do, but it's also going to show you your progress, the tasks that you've completed, the tasks that are pending, and the tasks that are overdue. Okay, because sometimes we come up with these lists and we're just writing to do, things to do, but we're not even checking, are we on track? Do we have anything that's pending? And the like. Okay, so we'll go to Excel, open a new sheet. So for the tasks, we need, of course, our date. So the date is when you are taking note of the task that you need to do, and then the task itself. And after that, we put in the due date. When is the task due? And then, of course, what is the status of the task? And our last column is the one that will let us. I'm going to give you a snip on the list because I'm also preparing a to-do list for the task I have coming up. I have a GitHub training coming up. So I'm going to use this to-do list for my example. So the date that I am going to use for when I need to have the task done is today. So since I'm preparing for a GitHub training, I will, before I do anything, I need to review the already existing material. So I review GitHub training material. Okay. And we'll say this can be due, let's say, on the 3rd of January. So between now and the 3rd of January, I would have to review this. So in the status column, we are going to use data validation because it's going to give us an option to indicate whether the task has been done or not. So we go to data validation and we say we're picking our options from a list, and the source of the list, our options are either it's done or it's pending. Okay, and I don't think we need an input message. I think this is straightforward. Okay, and then we have our arrow. So it's going to tell us whether it's done or it's pending. We'll pick accordingly. Then if a task is overdue, we are going to say if the due date, so sorry, I forgot my equal sign there. So if the due date is less than today, then, so if the due date is less than today, because we have not yet reached today, our status for overdue will be no, so it's not yet overdue. But of course, the opposite will be true. If we have passed the due date, then the status will be yes. Okay, so I think not to bore you, I'm just going to put a few examples. We want this formula to apply to all cells, so we can just drop down. So there are two ways you can do it. You can either drag and drop, and we say copy cells, or we could have just double clicked on the small square at the corner there and it will apply to the column. But since I'm just going to use a few cells in this example, I can afford to drag and drop. Okay, so immediately you've seen our date is less than today because we haven't even put in that date. It has read as overdue. Okay, but we can change that. So just need to take note of my last cell. So that would be cell number 18. The reason why I'm taking note of this cell number is something you're going to see soon. Okay, so I can put in another task. If I'm going to review the material, the next thing I will need to do, since I have reviewed the material, I can now prepare my training slides. Is not, I am reviewing the material from others and not necessarily copy. Okay, and this is not something that should take me a long time because I have already reviewed, so I can even use a day to prepare the slides. Okay, so since we have not yet reached the 4th of January, as you can see, the status has changed. The other thing that I'll need to do is to create a demo repository. So again, I'm thinking of this task now. So I am saying, okay, we need to create a demo repository. Okay, this should be coordinating with the slides. So it can either be on the same day or after. Let's push this to the 6th because I might need to get some slides from there. Okay, so this can go on, but I don't want to take too much of your time. So I think for the following, I can just continue up to here. And instead of fill, I can then say I want to copy the cell. Okay. And then here we can just say task, 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 task. I am assuming you would put actual tasks. So this is just me now trying to work with time. Then here we can put our dates. Okay, so for the sake of doing something interesting, I am going to put a few dates that were in the past. Okay, so that it becomes more interesting. So you've seen the rest of the dates. I've got 2024. So this made their status overdue. Let me just maybe just change this one. Okay, and this one. So the tasks are overdue. And then here, of course, is where we're going to have our status. So I'll demonstrate the status part, but for now, let me just do one and then we call it done. Okay. We're going to play around with the status as well to see whether it's pending or done. So remember I had said that we are going to have progress bar. That's going to show us what we are doing. Then I also mentioned that we can have the pending tasks shown, the completed tasks, and of course, the tasks that are overdue. So this is just to bring attention to where you need to focus. Okay, so if you are not focusing on those areas, you will need to push. All right, so for the progress bar, we will need to look at the completed task over our total tasks. So I have not put the total task. Let me just put the total tasks and then come back to that. So our total tasks is simply, I'm not sure why my cursor went there. Let's get it back to where it's supposed to be. So here we want to do our total tasks. So our total tasks is simply count. Okay. So we're going to put an absolute count because we're interested in counting the cells that are not empty within that range. Okay, so this is where we are starting from and this is where we are ending. So we have our total tasks. And then our completed tasks are going to be the tasks that are done. Very important that we make sure we add our equal sign. So we're saying count if the status is done in this range. So we put our range and then we say if we're going to find that it is done, we need to count. Okay, so we are only interested in the ones that are done. So automatically, if it's not done, then it's pending. So we apply the same formula, but this time we are going to put it under our pending tasks. So remember, this was the formula for done. We now change it to pending. Okay. So apparently we don't have anything pending, but we'll work on that. And then our overdue tasks, we're still applying the same formula, but this time our range is in E, and we are looking for those that are overdue. Okay, now that done, we are now going to add our progress bar. So our progress bar is basically the completed tasks over the total number of tasks, and we want this to be a percentage. So we come home and we add it as a percentage, and then we want this to look a bit more interesting, so we can come with a data bar, and then we have green. Green is for progress, we're making progress. And then for the overdue ones, we want them to be a bit more seen or vivid, so we come and then we'll put them in red so that they show that they are pending. Okay, so this is basically your to-do list. So we now come back here. Remember I said that I'm going to demonstrate. So let's say this task is done. We can come back here and indicate that it's done. So ideally, as I am indicating that it's done or pending, the number there should increase. So whatever that is done, my completed task will increase, and so my progress. And whatever that is pending, it will come here. So again, let me just demonstrate that. So I change the status and I put it as pending. Okay, there's this other one. I can put it as done so that we see. So as you can see, the percentage has increased. So for me, I like progress and I want my progress to be seen. So I'm going to just increase that so that I can really see my progress. And basically that's my progress bar. And then these ones, I want them outstanding, so I can even make them bold. Maybe we can even add some borders so that we see where we stand. And we can add borders to this one too. And the rest of them. Okay, so basically this was your to-do list. You can add as many tasks as possible. You can convert it even to your resolution list.